everyone. Welcome to the audience. Welcome also to the speaker. My name is Octavia as the moderator for today's sessions. I'm working as a scholarship officer for Nuffic Neso, Indonesia. And as you might know, we are currently in collaboration with LPDP with regards to the OKP-LPDP StuNed Joint Scholarship Program. We already opened the applications on the 20th February until the 30th of March. And it is a scholarship for Indonesian mid-career professionals to get a master's degree at one of the Dutch higher education institutions. And as you can see from the name, the OKP-LPDP StuNed Joint Scholarship is a scholarship, a joint scholarship between OKP, or the Orange Knowledge Program, funded by the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also by the Indonesia Endowment Fund for Education, or LPDP. And today we are going to hear presentations from one of the study institutions that participate in the joint scholarships, which is IHE Delft Institute for Water Education. For those of you who don't know yet, so basically IHE is the largest international graduate institutions in the field of water. So if you are thinking to pursue your study related to water management, then I might say that this is the perfect place for you to start. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Ewald Kok. He's the marketing officer at IHE to deliver the presentation. And if you have any questions related, please type your questions in the chat column as we will have the Q&A sessions after the presentation. So please, Ewald, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Octavia, for the introduction. Let me start my presentation. Let's see. Yes. So I hope you can all see the PowerPoint now. Can you confirm in the chat that is visible?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Octavia. So welcome and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ewald Kok. I'm the marketing officer of working at the communication office at IHE Delft Institute for Water Education. And in the coming 45 minutes, I will explain about IHE Delft, the institute, tell you a little bit about the institute, and I will explain about the MSc program in water and sustainable development. So the idea is that I give a presentation of about 30 minutes, followed by Q&A. So feel free, please, to ask everything you would like to ask, and I will try to answer. Let's see, next slide. Yeah, IHE Delft, as Octavia already said, is the largest international graduate education institute in the field of water. And we confer accredited MSc degrees and PhDs. We were founded in 1957. And ever since, we have provided education to more than 23,000 early and mid-career water professionals from over 190 countries. Apart from our education, we carry out various research and capacity development projects throughout the world. Yeah, a little bit about where we are situated. So we are based, we're based in the Netherlands, in Europe. And you see here, this is a picture of Europe. Let me see if I can put on the pointer. Yeah, so this is Europe. This is the Netherlands, and we zoom in. The Netherlands. This is Amsterdam, and Delft is situated about 1 hour by train south of Amsterdam, in the heart of the Netherlands. And as you can tell, we're in the heart of Europe, and cities like Paris and London are nearby, and you can easily visit while living in Delft. Delft is a relatively small town with about 100,000 inhabitants, and it's characterized by a very historical old town with old buildings and canals, such as you can see here. And the IHE campus is situated in the old center. And you can see that here. So this is an aerial photograph of Delft. This is the old town. And this is the IHE campus, situated on the canal, right in the heart of the city. A little bit about housing. You may have heard about the housing situation for students in the Netherlands. To be frank, it is a little bit of a crisis. So there are too little houses and apartments for students. Yeah, you may have heard stories about this crisis, and yeah, stories about finding student apartments, that it's hard. Luckily at the IHE, we have about 300 apartments available every year. So whenever you join our programs, we make sure that you get one of these apartments, and you don't have to worry about finding housing. And this is again an aerial photograph of Delft. Here you see the campus, and then this is our main student housing. It's called Mina Kruseman, and it's about 5-minute bike rides to IHE. So that's quite convenient. A little bit about our relation to the United Nations. So we are an active member of both UN Water and the UNESCO Water family. And we're the only education institute within UNESCO focused on water. Well, we work closely with other UNESCO water-related organizations, such as the International Hydrological Program and the World Water Assessment Program. And we also work with WMO, the World Meteorological Organization, FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, UNICEF, and the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, amongst others. So with those organizations, we do joint projects, we share information, etc., etc. Education and training. So this presentation is mainly about the MSc programs, and then about the Delft-based MSc programs on water and sustainable development. But apart from that, we also offer PhD program, short and online courses, and open courseware. The latter freely available on our website. But as I said, this presentation is mainly about the Delft-based MSc programs. So we offer 2 programs starting in October this year. One is the MSc program in water and sustainable development, We also call that the regular master. This master takes 1 year to complete and is interdisciplinary and practice oriented. But furthermore, we also offer research MSc, which is 2 years and is a bit more research oriented. And it's for those who have an ambition to pursue a career in academia or do a PhD. So the MSc program in Water and Sustainable Development, the regular version, will be running for the second time in October, because we started the first edition in October last year, and the research MSc will start for the first time in October. Let's see. Yeah, so interesting to note is that last year 140 students joined the MSc program in Water and Sustainable Development. And you see here number 240. Well, actually, the other 100 students are students in joint programs, and I'm not gonna discuss those in this presentation. So 140 students started the first run last year, and you saw the video of one of the Indonesian students that joined that program. Okay, so the MSc in Water and Sustainable Development. For who is it? Well, the program is for early and mid-career professionals working at governments, and it can be on a national level, but also on a regional level. The program is also meant for people working at universities, working at international organizations or NGOs, as well as the private sector. And what our students have in common is that they are active in the many different water work fields, as I call them. And you can see a couple mentioned in this scheme. So, for example, you can work in provision of drinking water, or you can work on flood protection schemes. You can work in agriculture, addressing irrigation and drainage schemes, for example. You can work for a river basin organization, or you can work in nature preservation, or you can work in the provision of energy through hydropower, for example. So all of these different work fields, they basically are located in different contexts. You can work on sanitation systems in an urban context, but also in a rural context, and both are quite different. There is a coastal context, but also more inland context. And there is a national and international context. Well, and these water work fields, they have various challenges, and often these work fields have interrelated challenges. So I'm going to give well, 1 or 2 examples. For example, take the city of Jakarta. For drinking water purposes, a lot of groundwater is used. As a consequence, the city is sinking, and that, of course, has a makes the city vulnerable for floods, and it has a direct relation then with flood protection. And one way to mitigate this problem is to extract less groundwater and maybe work on better provision of drinking water through pipes and through by making the system more circular, treating wastewater and feed that into a drinking water supply scheme. So this is to indicate that all of these issues are related. Same goes for building dams, for hydropower, and water storage, maybe for irrigation and drainage. And that's a positive effect of building a dam and a reservoir. But a negative effect could be that you basically stop the natural flow of the river, and that has negative consequences for nature preservation. So in all of these cases, in managing the water resources well, you need to involve different stakeholders from the different water work fields. That is very important. Well, in this scheme, on the left side, you see all these different water work fields, and I named a few, but there are many more. On the right-hand side, to make it even a bit more complex, you see the different disciplines working within these water work fields. And these different disciplines have different perspectives and different tools, techniques, and methods. For example, well, take the example of hydropower and dams. Well, it requires engineers to design those dams. It may require people with knowledge of computer models and GIS to plan, to make a planning for these hydropower schemes. You need policymakers, and perhaps also you need social scientists to deal with the social implications of building a dam. And furthermore, you need environmental scientists and ecologists to deal with the consequences for nature of that occur when you build such a dam. So my main point is that the nature of these water problems, they need an interdisciplinary approach. Well, we tried to basically mirror that in the new program and design, and by designing the program in such a way that it reflects this interdisciplinarity. Well, for that we invented 4 thematic tracks, and they are more or less related to these water work fields. They are water, food, and energy, water hazards, risks, and climate, water and health, and water resources and ecosystem health. Furthermore, we came up with 5 different disciplinary profiles, which is engineering and hydrology, governance and management, environment, sanitation, and digital innovation. And if you bring these 2 together, you get the following scheme. So you see here on the left-hand side, the thematic tracks, and on the right-hand side, the disciplinary profiles. And if you decide to apply to the MSc in Water and Sustainable Development, you first select a thematic track, one of these 4, and then you select a disciplinary profile that basically gives you some guidance in how you're going to study the thematic track. And for example, well, if you take water, food, and energy, you can study that track from an engineering perspective, but also from a governance and management perspective. That is a bit more related to planning and policy making for water, food, and energy resources, whereas engineering is more related to the design of dams, for example, or creation of irrigation and drainage schemes. Well, this scheme basically explains the relevant bachelor degrees for the different profiles related to the tracks, and basically and of course all this information is available on our website, but basically the engineering profile requires a bit more technical background, an engineering background, whereas governance and management profile could also, hey, you can have a technical background and decide to learn more about governance and management aspects of the water resources. But also you could join if you have a background, for example, in law, political science, anthropology, or international relations. Well, for example, the environmental profile is a bit more for people with a background in environmental science, but also is open to people within with the background in civil engineering. And basically, if you apply and if you succeed to get funding, then you will be assigned a coach. And with this coach, which is a staff member at IHE, you will then basically fine-tune your study program. And I will tell you a bit more about that in a few minutes. The curriculum. So our curriculum, and you see here two timelines, one of the one-year master and one of the two-year research master. And I'm looking at the clock. Yeah, I have about 10 minutes left. Okay. Our curriculum consists of common parts, thematic track modules, and a thesis research part. And yeah, this may be important for you to note that in the common parts, you will basically, and these are the blue elements in the timeline. In these common parts, you will be put together with people in all the tracks and from all disciplines. So basically that in the common parts, you will do projects with people from various backgrounds, whereas in the thematic track modules, and those are the gray elements, those are about 2 to 3 week modules, 6 in total. So it's this one in November and this one in December, number 4, 5, 6, 7. These track modules are basically modules within your chosen discipline. So here you deepen whatever you would like to learn within the field of water management and engineering. And I can give you a few examples of how that works in the next couple of slides. But basically, we have this multidisciplinary aspect in these common parts where you meet with people from all over the world and from a lot of different backgrounds and work on different projects together. And then the more in smaller groups, you will study your chosen discipline. And of course, in the thesis research, you will really focus on something that has your particular interest and something that brings value to you also for your the next steps in your career. Well, as you can tell, basically the first 10 months of both programs are more or less the same. Yeah, so whether you study the regular master or the research master, you will join these common parts and the thematic track modules jointly. There's a little difference in these mixed weeks for the students that join the research master, where the focus sometimes is a bit more on really deepening scientific skills and research skills compared to the regular master, where in the mixed week also a bit more professional skills are taught and are trained, so to say. So what more? Yeah, the research master has a very long research period compared to the regular master. Research master is 2 years, so basically, roughly said, you have 1 year to prepare and to do your research, which is quite different from the regular master. That is a bit more compact, and where the research period is a couple of months. Well, these are a number of examples of the different modules you can follow within the different tracks. So this is the water, food, and energy track. And let's say if you choose engineering as your disciplinary profile, you basically follow these dark blue modules, or at least you can decide which one you find interesting. So you could start with water and crop production, followed by a module on assessing irrigation performance, followed by irrigation design and modernization, followed by hydraulic design of structures. And basically you select these modules on the basis of your profile together with your coach, but you can also deviate and you can decide basically yourself what you find interesting. And it could be that if you have an interest in water in relation to agriculture and crop production, hey, you could follow some engineering modules, but also you could follow an environmental modules such as food system transformation. And this you will decide with your coach before you start the program and during the program. So you can really fine-tune the program to your own needs and to your own learning needs and to what you think you need for your career. Well, this is a similar scheme for the track on water hazards, water and health, and water resources and ecosystem health. All of this information is available on our website with more detailed information for the different modules. So if you're interested, please visit our website and browse through the different pages, and hopefully you get a good idea of what we offer in these modules. Okay, a little bit about our entry criteria. Well, in general, you need a bachelor degree in an appropriate field, and I explained that a couple of minutes ago. English language is really important, so you need to do an English language test and provide us, if you apply with the outcome of a TOEFL or IELTS test. You need strong motivation, and we prefer a couple of years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of professional experience, preferably, of course, in the water sector. The general application deadline is the 1st of July. But if you want to apply for a scholarship, yeah, you really have to start applying now, because the deadlines for the scholarships, and I indicated them here, are coming up quite soon. For example, Octavia explained about OKP-LPDP scholarship. The deadline is 23 of March already. So if you wish to apply for this scholarship program, our advice is to start applying in the coming weeks already, or even today. Here you see a couple of other scholarship opportunities for people from Indonesia with their deadlines. And all of this information is provided on our website. Just a little bit about the alumni network. We started our work in 1957, and that resulted in this large alumni network of people from all over the world. And what is interesting to say is that I think most of or Indonesia is the #1 country if you rank the number of alumni, with I think over 1,500 alumni from Indonesia. Just a little bit about employment. Well, our alumni work in academia, in governments, in the private sector, at international organizations and NGOs. In all these water fields I explained you before. I will conclude with a couple of pictures for you to get an idea. So this is the campus of IHE. This is the garden in the summer. This is one of our classrooms. And yeah, if you look at the picture, you see also the level of internationality. For us, I always feel if I enter our building, like if I'm entering an airport, you see people from all over the world, literally. And yeah, it's simply very international at IHE. You can meet the whole world. Apart from studying, we have a number of sports programs like football, basketball, badminton, anything you like. We also do, outside of group work and lectures, we try to go out in the fields and do experiments there. We have other extracurricular events, such as on World Water Day, the Students Association always organizes something nice. And this is a picture of the graduation that takes place in the Oude Kerk, in the old church, also in the old historical center of IHE. I invite you to visit our social media channels, such as Instagram and Facebook, for more pictures. And we have a YouTube channel with a lot of different student interviews. And I really invite you to go and visit these channels to get an idea of what studying at IHE entails. And it's really easy to go there. Just go to our website, and at the bottom you have all the links going to the different social media channels. With this, I'm concluding my presentation, and I would like to invite you to ask questions, anything.
Okay, thank you so much, Ewart, for the very, very, I would say, insightful presentations. Well, maybe from the audience, do you have any questions that you would like to ask regarding the study program, regarding the institution itself? Then you are open. You're very welcome to open your microphone or camera. Anyone with the questions? Okay. There's one question from Dicky in the chat. In the chat box. So he's asking about the minimum English proficiency skill. You mentioned about eligibility criteria that applicant must have a good English background, but is there a minimum score that he must get in order to be eligible?
Yes. Am I still? Okay, yeah, I'm not sharing my screen, but I can share a link basically with the minimum English language requirements. 1 second. And it differs also per, for the research master, we have different criteria compared to the regular master. So I just pasted the link to the English language requirements in the chat. And so basically IELTS overall 6.0 for the regular master and overall 6.5 for the research master. So basically, I would like to invite you to scan this page, and I think that answers your question. There's a follow-up one also in the. You're muted, Octavia.
Okay, yeah, there's a follow-up questions actually.
Oh, yeah.
He's asking about any marine pollution related subject that is included in the major or course. Like if there is any, which major or maybe which track I would say is more relevant in the IHE? Because you have 4 different tracks, right?
Yes, exactly. Marine pollution. Yeah, that sounds like the environment profile for sure. And then, yeah, I would say that's the water resources and ecosystem health track. And then the environment's profile. I think that's the right path. Although I must say, we mainly focus on freshwater, and we have a couple of modules related also to marine sciences, but in general we focus on freshwater resources, apart from the coastal zone management and these kind of fields.
Okay, so hopefully it answers your questions, Dicky. Let us know, in the comment if you still have any questions. I haven't seen any other questions. There's another question. This time it's coming from Ryan. Okay. Will the institutions be participating on selecting the future candidates on the joint scholarship program, especially those who are enrolling to IHE Delft?
Octavia, maybe you're best positioned to answer this question.
Okay, so let me take off my moderator hat first. Yeah, to answer the questions about the scholarship. So basically, for this joint scholarship, it's quite different to the regular OKP. In the regular OKP, I think the university can nominate which students they would like to be in the program. But for the joint scholarship, we ask the university basically not to pre-nominate, so just basically to nominate all the candidates that already have the offer letter. So in the future, the assessment itself will be done by the team, the OKP team, and also by the LPDP team. I hope it answered your question, Ryan. Ewald, I think you're muted.
Yes. So what I can add, Ryan, is that we encourage basically everybody who is interested in studying at IHE to just apply for the program, and as soon as you are admitted, you basically can apply for a couple of different scholarships, so that you increase your chances of getting selected for one of the scholarships you apply for. And this is done by most students in general.
Yeah, so basically agree with you, Ewald. Yeah, apply as many scholarships as you can, as long as you meet the eligibility criteria. Well, I do have a question for you, Ewald, regarding to the letter of offer or letter of admission, because basically, if they want to apply for this joint scholarship, they need to get like the unconditional LOA first. So, do you know how long it is normally take for the institutions to get an LOA? For example, the applicant doesn't have an English proficiency test yet. So can they just submit their academic transcript, diploma, just to let the institutions assess their applications first?
Yes.
And then submit the English later on?
Yeah, that's absolutely possible. Yeah, so in general, I would say the more complete your application is, if you have had the motivation letter, the recommendation letters, etc., your transcripts, if you prepare those things well and submit it to us, then we can check those boxes. And if you, in the meantime, say, okay, I'm now working on the English test, then at least we can process everything else. We can give you a conditional admission. But I would say that before you start to apply for the OKP-LPDP scholarship, you really need to have the application needs to be final. And so you need to submit your the results of your English test, well, at least a couple of days before the deadline of the OKP-LPDP scholarship, because you need to have an unconditional admission to the program in order to be able to apply for OKP-LPDP. Right, Octavia?
Yeah, so maybe like what I can share is, for example, you already get a conditional letter of offer from IHE, but yeah, when you but you take the English test later on, it's okay if you can submit us your conditional letter of offer, but you must also provide that you already meet the English proficiency test. For example, your IELTS result just come up on the 29th of March and the deadline is 30th of March, but your offer letter is still conditional, then it is possible to apply for the joint scholarship. Don't worry about it. Just make sure that you submit your application as soon as possible to IHE, and then book your IELTS or TOEFL, because I think it takes about 2 weeks, right? Normally to get the result.
Yeah, that's right. But it really depends. If you really have everything well prepared and all the documents are in order, then we can be quite fast, and we can even process the application in a couple of working days. But what normally delays the process is if you are if some documents are missing, or if you don't have the right formats. So I advise everybody to really carefully scan the website to see which documents you need to supply. and we have also an FAQ page on the website with a lot of frequently asked questions, and it's good to scan these things in order to be well prepared before submitting your documents.
Okay. So I think another questions from Anissa in the column in the Q&A box. She graduated with a diploma in irrigation and swamp planning engineering. Then she worked as a planning consultant for 2 years about water management and water structure planning. Do you have any recommendation, like which thematic track will be more in line with her educational backgrounds?
Okay. Anissa, that really depends on your future plans, and it really depends on what you wish to either specialize in, or you could also there are, well, let me phrase it in another way. I would say, well, for example, if you want to continue in water and food, then choose the track water, food, and energy, and then choose one of the profiles. If you would like to deepen your knowledge about more engineering subjects, then choose the engineering profile. But if you feel like you want to know more about the more water management and governance aspects, then choose the governance and management profile. But really base it on, I would say, go to the website, scan the content of the modules, spend a couple of hours studying what we offer, and base your choice on that. And I would say the next step is you can always fine-tune that at a later stage. So don't be afraid that you take the wrong decision, because if you get accepted to the program, together with the coach, you can fine-tune your trajectory, and you can make a couple of changes if that is if that is the outcome of your conversation with the coach.
Okay, so I hope it answered your questions. Anissa, I think there's another questions coming related to choosing certain modules or certain thematic track from Fadila Rito. Yeah, it's quite specific, like he's asking whether it's possible to choose certain modules.
Okay, I can, Dito, I would like to say, is it possible to choose certain modules from other? Yes, that is absolutely possible. So if you choose water hazard risk and climate track, you can take a module from another track. So the answer is yes.
Okay, because I think the program itself is also interdisciplinary, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the big idea is basically to we acknowledge that there are a lot of different people with different backgrounds working in the different water work fields, and everybody has different learning needs. So this program really can be tailored to whatever you would like to study, and you do that in collaboration with a coach that can really help you to take the right decisions.
Okay, so I think because the time is running out, I think Ewald, for example, if student has further questions, related to the course itself, related to, for example, one is asking about a PhD application. Is there a specific contact detail that you might be able to pass it to us?
Well, anyone who has a question can contact me, and I will put it in the chat now. And I'm willing to answer the question. I see, for example, a question about the difference between IHE and TU Delft. That's really interesting. I would love to say a few things about that, but Octavia, do I have 1 minute, or do we need to stop now?
Yes, I think 1 minute is okay.
Yeah, okay. So in general, IHE Delft, well, what we have in common with the TU is that we're in the same town, of course, but also a lot of our professors and lecturers, they work also for the TU Delft. We have a joint PhD program with the TU Delft, and I would say our level of education is at the par with the level of education at TU Delft. Also in terms of the research we're doing, it's all, yeah, it has the same quality. But what makes IHE special is that we are really focused on water for development, and the scale is quite different from the TU Delft. So we are way more compact, and we are really focused on water for development only, whereas at the TU Delft, of course, yeah, a lot of what is taught is about water in the Dutch context.
Okay. Thank you, Ewald. I think since time is running out, I'm really sorry if you still have questions that are still not addressed in our information session. But as we said, if you have any questions related to IHE, you can write Ewald an email. His email address is already in the meeting chat box. And if you have any questions related to the joint scholarships, then please feel free to send me an email. So with this, I would like to conclude the info session for today. Thank you so much for the very, very insightful presentation, Ewald. And for everyone who's attending the info session, I wish all of you a good luck with your study plan, and hope to see you somewhere in the Netherlands. Good luck, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Octavia.
Thank you, Ewald. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.